Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review. As I said in my update video earlier today, I'm back after my 2-week hiatus because I just had too many things to do for university. This week is still quite busy, but I found a hole in my schedule to record this review for you. Also, I again want to apologize for the bad lighting in this video, because it's still quite early in the morning. I have to use artificial lighting instead of usual daylight. But we're here for a review, and today's review will be of Ao Haru Ride or Blue Spring Ride. Ao Haru Ride is a recent romance anime that got high scores, so I was pretty curious for this one. Let's see what I thought of it. So the story of Ao Haru Ride revolves around a girl named Yoshioka Futaba, who is a middle school girl who is in love with a guy named Ko Tanaka. But after a misunderstanding, they both part ways and Ko transfers schools. Now we're a few years later, when Futaba is in high school, and where she again meets Ko, but he no longer goes by the name of Tanaka, he's now called Ko Mabuchi. Will their old love bloom again, or will dark things from the past destroy everything? A first positive point in Ao Haru Ride was the development of our main character, Ko. Now about Ko as an overall character, I'm going to talk more further in this review, because Ko wasn't the greatest of characters in my opinion. But the development in his personality was well done, and this comes most to show in episode 11, where we finally discover what happened to Ko in the past, and why he is who he is. Now, it's not that I was extremely surprised by this turn of events, I saw it coming. Nevertheless, after that we discover his past, I started to respect Ko more as a character. Which brings me to that episode 11. Although I expected what happened, it was still a valuable lesson. A lesson that tells us that materialistic goods aren't the most important thing in life, but the people who are close to you and who you care about are. That's the lesson I will remember the most of Ao Haru Ride. A second positive point was that the anime basically centers around the collision between friendship and love, and the difficult choices that come with that. But also here the outcome of the Futaba-Yuri conflict, which we don't get until the second OVA by the way, was predictable, and also maybe not a complete objective representation of what happens when two girls love the same guy. It was still sweet to see how their friendship concluded, but maybe not entirely truthful. Also more about those OVAs later on. Then a detail that I noticed was the cat that Ko befriends during the anime. That cat, although it's never clearly explained, carried a lot of meaning and in some way was a representation of Ko. I noticed that the cat appeared on the background in several important scenes in the anime. Like every scene where the relationship between Futaba and Ko moved further and Ko developed further and opened up more, the cat was there. Now, we never get an official explanation for the cat, so it could be that everything I'm assuming here is complete nonsense. But it's what I want to believe. Now, before I said that the development of Ko was good, but still I wasn't a fan of his character. See, you can create a character that has almost no emotions, but you have to make him or interesting or a complete badass. Some of my favorite characters like Yuji from Grisaya, Tatsuya from Mahoka Koko no Retosei and Nicholas from Gangsta are emotionless but still exciting guys, and I didn't feel that kind of excitement with Ko. I found him to be quite a boring character, and I think he was put into this anime to please the female audience. Because Ko is your typical Prince Charming character that most females fall for. But I never liked him as a character, at least until episode 11, as I mentioned before. Another thing that definitely bothered me in Ao Haru Ride was the comedy. I really didn't like the comedy in this anime. It was so silly, so childish, and sometimes too forced to be good. In episodes that were going more towards drama, there would suddenly be a stupid joke or gag that completely broke the current mood. The bad comedy was to me the worst thing about Ao Haru Ride. Then we get to the romance, and you might be surprised to see this in the negative part of this review. Yeah, I never felt the click with the romance between Ko and Futaba, I just didn't. In a romance anime, I need to have that click with the main couple instantly, and I didn't have it with this anime. I was never really interested in their relationship. It's probably also because of Ko, but I never had a real interest in the main relationship of this romance anime. But this is where the OVAs come into play. Yes, we're going back to positive. The first OVA tells the story of how Ko and Futaba fell in love in middle school, something that we get to see fragments of in the anime. And here I did feel that click with the romance. If the actual anime would have been more like the OVA, I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I did now. Then the second OVA. This was a really good OVA, since it solves some of the questions that remained at the end of episode 12. It's also quite rare to see this kind of development in an OVA. Usually an OVA takes place in between the episodes of the anime, but here the second OVA is an actual 13th episode. But there was also something wrong with this OVA. The thing is that the OVA took the open ending that the series had, solved some things, and then left us with an even bigger open ending. And if there's something that I hate in stories altogether, it are open endings. I hate it in books, in films, in series, in animes, in everything. I just need a conclusive ending to fully finish something and to move on to the next thing. I hope that there will be a second season of Ao Haru Ride. It's a fairly young anime, so maybe late 2016, 2017, I hope to see season 2. So as a conclusion, Ao Haru Ride isn't the best romance anime I have seen. In my opinion, there are a lot better ones out there. And that's why I'm going to rate Ao Haru Ride at 3 out of 5 stars. However, there needs to be a second season to resolve that open ending. As for my recommendation, I recommend Monogatari if you liked Ao Haru Ride. These two complete each other. Where Ao Haru Ride had bad comedy, Monogatari had great comedy, and where Monogatari lacked drama, Ao Haru Ride filled that. I liked Monogatari more when it comes to the romance. This romance was a lot sweeter and made me root for the main couple. And with that I conclude my review of Ao Haru Ride. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put them in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.